Hello everybody, my name is The Geek, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Genshin Impact 5.3 and the finale of the Natlan Archon quest. Now, Natlan unfortunately did not get its final region, so fully exploring the region and talking about the final exploration, in my opinion, on all of Natlan's, well, landmass, won't be discussed today. I will note, as of what's available with the first two parts of Natlan's exploration, Statue of the Seven, upgrading the separate villages and everything, I really do dig it. I think a big issue that I personally have with it is some of the God, I can't say that word. Saurians don't exactly control the best. Mind you, I think the first three are very finely tuned. I'm not a big fan of the newest two editions. But honestly, I still really love all five of them. I think it's going to be great to see what the sixth one's going to be. And what the final, probably more than likely outside of the region, final area that's going to go to a separate map. You know, yada yada. Genshin Impact does Genshin Impact. Sorry, I need to take a sip of my coffee. So let's talk about the finale of the Archon quest. Sorry if I say her name. God, I can't say her name correctly. The Archon, oh God, I'm so bad at Moveka. Oh my God, I can't say her name correctly. Oh my. Sorry, this is so unprofessional of me. Oh, what's her? Let's see. No, how in the world? Muwuka? I'm so terrible. I'm sorry. I know I listen to the English audio, but I'm really bad. And of course, the Satali. I know. How can I get Granny's voice correct? Her little villager story quest. First of all, let's talk about the Archon quest. Well, a lot of it was, oh, let's have a feast. I gotta say, I really dig it. Now, real quick, let's say this. Having a Jew's voice actor back was the best time to get him back. He is such a chaotic character that not having him when he is just constantly being fucking beat down would have been a terrible thing not to have for this story quest. And it's highly great that he was here for the story quest. Listen, now let's talk. Listen, Kanisha's still not here, which for the Muvika's storyline and for the main Archon quest is still not great. Especially with him being the champion at the end of the story quest. But it's like, come on, man. I know the actor strike is still a thing. Unfortunately, because of that small side quest in Mondstadt, we automatically know that even Venti's voice actor is still part of this strike. And it's like, and with the Liyue thing and us having a high degree chance that almost everyone in Liyue is probably going to be mutes, I'm just like, oh, come on, guys. Let's get this. Like, Miyaho, just hire these people directly. Don't even give it a chance to this actor guild or whatever the fuck's going on. Like, I get it. Fight for your rights. AI voice acting is important. But, God, I hope this gets over sooner than later because it is just ruining the English dub. And, man, it'd be great to just get this shit over with. I don't want people replaced. I need to state that. I think replacing voice actors is a no-go in this situation. It is a strike. Replacing people is just not the right move at the time. So hopefully this situation gets dealt with in a more appropriate time. Well, yes, let's talk about... but no, as I said, though, it is great that Kashina is fully back. She was back last patch, but she had a very small role. And also, what's her name? The one who is from the tribe we haven't been to yet. Her voice actor still being gone is a bit of a... Especially with how much dialogue she has in this and with the Muvika storyline. Not having her back as well is a huge problem. Other than that, everyone's voice actors are here. Even all the small side characters who showed up as like side quest stories. Which, let's talk about that. When we're traveling with Muvika to do the final quest line, the fact that so many of the characters who we met who unfortunately died show up, I think is a fantastic. Just having them there, helping us get to the final boss battle of the Archon quest is really great. I mean, honestly, I think it's such a cool idea of having this being here. And even the fact that Muvika herself has to go, and I know I'm probably driving everyone insane saying her name incorrectly. Listen, I can't call her Pyro Mommy the entire time. I was so happy that I did pull her. Like, fuck yes, I got her finally. She plays fantastic. I'm so excited to have her. But yeah, I know. Unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do in the situation of pulling her or unsuccessfully, but saying her name correctly. But you know. But no, I honestly really love especially I love this time around how the Pyro Traveler was implemented. I was really wondering what was going on, if Hoyoverse just got behind the development on the Pyro Traveler. But I'm so happy to see that the Pyro Traveler was actually a story-related item and not just, oh, we're gonna have him or her in the background and not introduce them until because we got behind. But no, instead it's a story element. I love how they did the Pyro Traveler here. Usually, and I do agree, the Traveler and their abilities is something that's always kind of kept in the background. We're supposed to imagine in world, most of the boss battles we're doing as the Traveler isn't the 4 characters we have selected. For myself, it's Klee, Beidou, Kazuha, and Barbara. And yeah, usually those are who I run. But we need to imagine in these boss battles, it's the Traveler switching back and forth between using his different elements or his or her element to fight. So we don't see that. And this is the first Archon quest where they're really showing off just what all the Traveler themselves can do. And I think it's such a nice little element. And I gotta say, I love how Saurian transformations and how the Traveler can possess a Saurian is really brought up here to in the lead up to the boss battle, where we're using all 5 of the Saurians to get ourselves to the final boss battle, switching back and forth. I think that was such a fun little side thing for us. I understand maybe some people can be like, oh, well, that was a bit of a pain in the butt. But no, I thought it was a really great thing. Even to the point that at first we lose the boss battle, which is obviously scripted. Especially if you're like most people who you don't use the Traveler. So the Traveler himself is probably not running the best artifacts. And if you don't know the Pyro Traveler's stats, you maybe don't have the best artifacts on him or her. Sorry, I have to keep saying him or her. One thing I will say, I love the Abyssal Dragon we fight. I don't know if this is supposed to be interpreted as the corrupted, is it supposed to be this, the corrupted Pyro Dragon, or if this is just a Abyssal Dragon using Pyro element. I'm not sure what they're fully going for. But no, I really do dig this. I think it's really neat. And like I said, I love how this Archon quest really does count on you doing everything Natlands had available. Doing every side quest, doing every village trial to make sure you have all the full story available to you. I think that's a really neat element, especially having the different voices and characters who have been used. A good example is the children of the... I just played... the first village we go to, the one Fuchina's from. I love that little side... that side story that is a optional thing to do. where you are helping, you save that child from like the mother who, her child died, but she kidnapped another child, and she was going to use like her way describing names to basically Photoshop a new name and soul into her. And I was not expecting that her, not the actual girl we rescue, to show up at the party before we do the final thing. But for her to like straight up be like the child who did die, her showing up when we go to the, like, we go to there and like to fight and try to find the final boss, her to show up and help us get to the final boss. I think that's such a cool twist. Like a side story that you do not have to do, but, and it makes me wonder if I didn't explore and didn't do any of the extra bits for Natland. It makes me curious, like, what the game would have done. Would they still have introduced her and made it kind of awkward? Or would they have just been like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter too much, you know. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But I really do dig this. I think this is a very cool idea. I like what they did with that. And may I say, the when we, like, where Muvika almost sacrifices herself to basically the death in this world, when the captain shows up, someone who I've had such mixed feelings, when the captain shows up and sacrifices himself by basically taunting death with like, you cursed all Conriums with immortality, but if you kill me, that's going to be mocking your own roles. And I'm like, oh damn, this boy called out death. And can I say, nice. I love it. I really do. Just, the captain has been a character who I went from, oh, I don't like it, it's another Harbinger who's going to be evil, to, oh, the Harbinger's a good guy. Wait, he's from Conria? What? To, oh, you're kind of here at a weird time. Now I don't trust you. And now it's, no, don't die. How can I pull you if you die? Listen, I couldn't pull Senora because she's ashes right now, but I could have pulled for you. Now you're just now another corpse. Now you do have a badass throne. I gotta add that. Where his body is, and how you can use those final bits and pieces for upgrading a village to its max reputation. Dude, that is so fucking cool. And I gotta say, I really do dig that, like, the memorial for everyone who passed, the fact that he's enshrined on there with the other Saurians, I'm like, dude, that's such a great element. I love it. That's like always going to be there. Now, I will say, I really do dig the part where like we're deemed like the big hero of the region, and like we're signing signatures. People are want to take photos with us. Like, it's so surreal because like at this point in Genshin, we have. Personally, we've had help, but like we've saved 5 other. We saved Mondstadt, we saved Liyue, we saved Inazuma, we saved frickin' Sumeru, we saved so many regions already. Like hell, we saved Fontaine from melting in the water. But why is it that when it comes to this, we're just kind of not being given any kind of like before then, like, oh yeah, there was a feast and like our little group of friends celebrated us, but like, no, I love Natland is just like they're just literally like, oh, you're our hero, here's have this feast, you're a superstar. It's like, and I do get curious, when are we going to get knocked down a peg? Because like the Traveler and Paimon are eventually going to get knocked down a peg. They're going to have to. Like, listen, I love the idea that, like, we're a superstar, but, like, eventually we're going to have to go back to, like, why would we leave Natland if Denosa stays safe if the Noza stays safe and Natlan is treating us like celebrities, something is going to have to happen to make us leave Natlan. It can't just be, oh, you're the big hero, we're going to do everything to suck your dick. Like, you can't keep having that. We're eventually going to have to get knocked down. And that's something, like, I fully am expecting eventually we're going to have to get knocked down and, like, told, okay, well, back to the grind. Go to Shiznaya, fight the Harbingers and all that. Like, something's going to happen to make us leave Natlan. And it's obviously not going to be a bad thing, but it's going to be like, oh, yeah, I guess it was a nice run. You know, that kind of thing's going to have to happen. So, no, I love the Archon quest. Honestly, if I would say, looking at Natlan's full Archon quest story, I'd say it's probably my second favorite story when it comes to lining up all the stories. Like, I'd say Inazuma is probably my favorite of the Archon quests so far. Then below this would be, like, obviously Natlan. Yeah, no, that's probably where I put it. If you want my opinion, a hot take on the other ones, please leave a comment in the description down below, and maybe I'll answer and tell you what my least favorite Archon quest is. Spoiler alert, it's Fontaine. Oh, that's incredibly unfair. But no, so let's talk about the the character quest with Mavaka. Oh, God. For a character I wanted to pull for, like, the last 2 patches, I really should know how to say her name, especially if she's going to replace Klee on my team. That's not 100% yet. I have to see if Klee, you know, who I put a lot of, like, resources in the Klee, so it's hard to replace Klee. I got to see if she's someone I like playing as. She reminds me of Diluc, but with a motorcycle. And that's about all I can say about play-wise. I haven't really had a chance much. This is coming out. I should note this is coming 3 days after the patches come out. So I've just... And even though this is going to be dropping a week later, I just need to say that, you know, that's my own personal opinion. But yeah, that's the thing. I really do dig what this is. Mivka's story quest is pretty interesting. I like the idea that we have to turn this big the whole big thing that competition they've been doing yearly, which is, you know, the whole idea behind, like, why they do it, to fight the Abyss. I like the fact how important it is now to make it to give people a new reason, because yeah, this has been a region that's been fighting. They've been fighting the Abyss for 500 years. That's their history. That's everything that their family, their ancestors have put into their life for the last 500 years. And the idea that, yeah, now it's time for them to find a new way to move on. Yeah, that's tough. That's not something you can just do overnight. That's an important thing you gotta do. I mean, 500 years of doing the same thing? That'd drive anyone insane. That's why I think it's important that we finally see, like, we're going around and trying to get, like, everything established to make a brand new way to do this. So it's like people can move on. They can have a competition that's not just to fight the Abyss, but it's something that can help people just become, like, better, like sports people almost. Like, that's kind of what this competition I explained it of. But I'm sure what people who are watching this to hear my opinion on the lore is, what do I think that the first Pyro Archon shows up in the body of a child for a day? I think that's really fucking cool. I like because that was my worry. The story quests are going on, and, like, they're like, oh, the first Pyro Archon, Shabalanka's coming back. He's gonna be back. He's gonna be back. And yes, I can say the first Pyro Archon's name, but I can't say the current Pyro Archon's name. Listen, I'm not good with names. Trust me, ask my coworkers. But yeah, no, that's a big thing. I really do dig the idea that he came back. the voice sounds so familiar too. I'm very convinced. I've watched enough anime. I've heard that voice before. Is it Razors? No, it can't be Razors, but it does sound familiar. But the idea that, he came back, and only for a day, which, yeah, because, like, the fact that he gets to come back and see what his region has become is crazy. Like, they finally got victory, so Death is like, well, I lost an argument with you. Also, I love how sarcastic the man is. Like, I love the idea that, like, it kind of goes into, like, how much history's always skewed and everything. Like, everybody thought that he'd be this big, scary, fighty dude, but, like, he's kind of just, like, a gremlin-level comedy guy who likes making jokes and everything. And, yeah, he just snuck into the random competition. And he got out before he got to the top 32. Mind you, he is in the body of a child, and he can't really use all his powers, but that's crazy. And the fact that him and Muvika go into a separate realm so they can have a Pyro Archon versus Pyro Archon death match to the end. Not to the end, but like just a sparring match. Visually was fucking awesome. That scene where she gets the giant beam of fire and he fucking catches it before he smashes down to the ground. It I gotta say, kind of reminds me a lot of Natsu. Like, if Natsu had to fight Natsu, wait a minute, did the Pyro Archon get voiced acted by the same guy who does the English voice of Natsu? Nah, I'm going crazy. Or am I? You know what? I should have done research. Doesn't matter. Because it's a temporary story quest I can never play again unless I restart Genshin. And that's not happening ever. No. Listen, even if Genshin Impact comes to the Switch, I'm just going to log into my standard profile. I ain't redoing all that craziness. I'm not an insane person. You're the insane people. I am the one who put $100 in so I can get the Pyro Mommy. I got her within my first 10 pulls of that $100. And then I completely failed to get Satali yet. I'm going to do my dailies. Maybe get her before we go into the Archiello rerun. But, whatever. But I guess we should move on to the Satali, her story quest. Now, her story quest, I gotta say, I don't have a lot to say about. A lot of the final parts of the each three of things have been a bit of emotional gut punches. And I gotta admit, her friend coming back and, corrupted Fontanian people showing up, using, of course, the bad people from the Fatui, because we really have this, like, not looking at the Fatui as the worst kind of people in this. And yeah, her, like, they fight, Satali's friend from over 200 years ago, shows up as a memory fragment. We find, and the quest line that we were given in the first two parts to wove the, sacred cloth, we finally finished that up. It'd be nice for all this Mora we're promised if some of that Mora would actually come into our money instead of me having to go fight some yellow plants. But, But no, Satali is just a fantastic character. I love the idea how she can still read our minds, and she temporarily fucks up, and, like, now we can read her mind again. And I do like how the conclusion finally has her realizing, like, hey, we're all friends, we're all buddies, And also, can I say the part where she's drunk and she flies away on top of a little plushy guy? Fucking adorable. Listen, she might be a 200-year-old plush Jilf, but that was fucking adorable. Okay, but before we conclude this video, let's talk about something I do feels kind of needs to be addressed. Now, the Archon quest, at the end of every Archon quest, for people who don't know Genshin very well, always ends with what I call the most important part. The part where we have to discuss the questions we ask the Archon. And here we find out, in a region shortly outside of Chesnaya, the Doctor's up to something. Now, we haven't heard it from the Doctor since Sumeru. Now, if you're someone who's been playing Genshin daily and non-stop, you gotta note that's been about 2 or 3 years since anyone's seen, heard, or done anything with the Doctor. We had Fontaine, which only really focused on Child and oh god, another Archon I can't say. So in reality, the Doctor being involved with a group of Fatui, there's something suspicious there, and we have to know Chesnaya is gonna have to basically start with the Pyronosis being stolen, ascertained, or taken from that land. Something's gonna have to happen. Rather, the Heavenly Principles is going to wake up, and we take the Gnosis in order to get in the Chesnaya, or the Abyssal Twin shows up during the Dansleaf thing, and they steal the Gnosis, and they're using it as a bargaining chip with the Fatui. Or one of our Fatui friends gets captured, and we have to come to Chesnaya to save them. Like I said, we don't know. But hearing that the Doctor's involved always freaks me out. Because, the Doctor was, to me, the most intimidating Harbinger we've dealt with. Don't get me wrong. The Wanderer, he's whatever. Child, yeah, he's fun, but he wants to fight more than anything. Archelino, she's more worried about her kids than she is worried about any of the other shenanigans. And when it comes to, a certain character, they're just a pile of ashes setting and being probably still swept up in Inazuma. Come on, you can't turn someone to ashes and you get that stuff all out with one good sweeping. That pile of ashes is probably still got remnants in that little throne room area for the Raiden Shogun. That's going to take a while to get all that dust out of there. But, no, honestly, the Doctor was very intimidating and was the perfect villain for, the Sumeru plotline. And hearing that the Doctor is working on a new project, a project who we might have heard discussed in Fontaine. Yeah. Now, that could be one of two things. This could be something that pops up maybe when we get the final bit in that land as the little side area to go to. Or that could be the big update prior to us going to, just like we had that update prior to going to Inazuma, where we had we had to go and where we had to go and do the little travel to thing with Beto and Kazuha to get on their ship and everything. That could be the final little addition right before Chesnaya. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. But in conclusion, I had a lot of fun playing 5.3 so far. Obviously, there's going to be the whole part with Liyue, and unless something really significant happens with the Liyue questline, I really don't have much to add to anything like that. If anything, I will say, if anything major plot relevant, I might make a small one-off video, but I wouldn't expect a full, it's my Friday regular release video. But I did feel like I needed to cover the end of Natlan, because it does feel like a major, concluding puzzle piece to the big Archon, the Archon quest lines in general. And I felt it was significant to talk about at least the Muvika's character story, because I feel like anytime that the Archons get their own little story, it's significant, I feel like you can't finish Sumeru without both of Nihida's storylines. I feel Fontaine, you don't really get closure for Rena, or, and Nouvelette's storyline was like great for Fontaine, despite my opinion on the Fontaine Archon quest, but Liyue with Shang-Li, anytime Shang-Li shows up, it's great. Venti, I felt like we got more insight on their character. And the raid on Shogun's story quest was pretty fun too. Actually getting to kind of close that robotic, endeavor she has. So anytime the Archon quest has like a story thing, I feel it's very important to cover. But hey guys, I had a blast talking to you guys about the Genshin 5.3 story quest additions. And also, if you guys have any more requests for anything video game, anime, or in general just something geek related you want me to talk, discuss, or review, please leave those suggestions in the comment section down below. Or hell, if you guys even want to just have me talk more about the Genshin lore, I don't mind. If you guys want me to review a certain Archon quest, you guys can ask me for. I don't mind covering any of the Archon quests, even if you want to hear my opinions on Fontaine, which most people probably don't. So, hey, thank you guys everyone for watching. This is The Geek. Geek out.